There is a proposal afoot. What is the proposal? Only one person's proposal. And that is to shift the meditation from 7 to 7:15.
Yeah, we will take a vote. Vote. Voting for vote. 7:30.
Justified reasoning. Is there a reason for that?
7:50. So
That's the
maybe
way
if
proposed.
there is a very solid
Substantiate with a reason.
Reasoning. I think it's just psychological. The idea is that 7:15 is less colder than 7. Looks like it's being voted down. So, Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane Tatpadamburuhadvandva Seva Nirmala Chetasam Sukhabodhaya Tattvasya Vivekoyam Vidhiyate. Tomorrow we'll meet at what time for meditation? 7. So, so this conversation makes no difference to people who are already coming at 7:15. Okay? Excluding them. So, this samadhi business, have to be careful here. The let's just reiterate what was studied yesterday, a little bit recap. And what is the recap? That for yoga philosophy, samadhi is the ultimate. And in the samadhi, the subject-object fusion removes all confusion. This is the yoga philosophy's teaching. And Vedanta and yoga philosophy go very much side by side. There is a lot of synergy. So what happens here? Yoga philosophy is excellent with all the disciplines, and those disciplines become the what is that called? Adhikaritvam for us in Vedanta. What are the disciplines? Yama, niyamas, very important. And then asana, of course, the discipline for the body, very important. And then we accept that. Then pranayama, of course we accept. Then pratyahara, dhyana, dharana, and everything we accept. Samadhi also we accept. The only point of difference is that what the purpose of the samadhi is. Samadhi phalam, there is a difference. And we will be seeing that. So, the samadhi phala, what is the samadhi phala for yoga? is that it is likened to what we would say as self-knowledge. It is likened to self-knowledge, and perhaps they assume that the person going through samadhi has already studied or understood, we don't know. But this is the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, and in the Kaivalya Pada, I think verse 15, 16 perhaps, talks about the Samadhi Phalam. And the Samadhi Phalam, what he says, Patanjali says, is identical to our Jnana Phalam. Same thing. And we'll see that because Panchadashikara, the author of the Panchadashi, uses that same verse, we will see, and then tweaks it a little bit. He Vedantizes the verse. So that verse, which is the Jnana Phalam in yoga philosophy, he makes it into Vedanta and talks of Jnana Phalam. And so in a certain way, Panchadashikara brings the two streams, yoga philosophy and Vedanta, together to show how important it is. And it's almost like by the end of the first chapter, they are shaking hands, doing namaste to each other, acknowledging, but because there is a lot of synergy. So now the only point of difference is that the Vedantin does not think that samadhi is the be all and end all of the knowledge, because you don't have that which you get into and get out of. Is that consciousness? No. That which you never get into and never get out of, that is consciousness, and that consciousness has to be understood. And then if you think, some Vedantins think this, and if you think that samadhi is important to understand, that what is that? That consciousness which is not opposed to a subject, not opposed to object, neither the subject nor the object. If you need we would say you don't need an experience for that, because this is knowledge. But if you do need an experience for that, and samadhi is used to illustrate that, we don't have a problem. But where does moksha and how does moksha take place? Because of Atma Jnanam. So the samadhi and all are just bonuses along the way. It's not the ultimate. So then we saw that yesterday. Continuing. So we saw that the pravilapa of dhyata and dhyana in 55 we saw, and what is there? The content of the dhyeya vastu. What is the content of dhyeya vastu? Ishvara, consciousness, actually consciousness. Dhyeya vastu is Ishvara, and what is the truth of Ishvara? Consciousness. So that consciousness alone remains, and then we saw how nirvata deepavat chittam samadhihi, where there is no trembling, a light that is not trembling. Why? Because it is protected from the breeze. A breezeless lamp flame, how steady it will be burning. Of course, you have to put oil and all that they are not going to tell in the thing. We have to understand. So, steadily it is burning, just in the same way that consciousness, unopposed to the object, unopposed to the subject does not establish consciousness, the object does not ratify the existence of consciousness. This independent consciousness, because of which subject is, because of which object is, that is the question at hand, which is, I understand as myself alone. That nirvikalpa is called samadhi. We also discussed many different kinds of samadhi. That was just to understand. Now, if supposing someone were to raise an objection or ask just an innocent question. So, because they could ask the very important question, how do you know that dhyata, a subject, and the dhyanam, the meditation, the mantra, both of them have dropped? How do you know? Who is the witness? No witness. Why? Why not consciousness is Sakshi? Consciousness is obtaining as Sakshi until you were chanting and until you were participating. Now what? That Sakshita has dropped, and then what was Sakshya is also dropped. So what remains is consciousness. How do you know? How do you know that you were in Samadhi? Because he says anumiyate, it is inferred, it is presumed. And how is it presumed? Because the mind is kind of awake, the mind is not asleep, the mind is awake, and then when you come out of the samadhi, when something clicks and then brings you out of the samadhi, there is some noise, something that brings you out of the samadhi, you say, oh, I was out. And then you look at the time, and then what? Samahitaha abhuvam, I was in samadhi. Etavantam, for this much time I was in samadhi. This is a conclusion that is based on a presumption. Here anumiyate means is presumed. Don't think anumana, pramana and all that. Simple presumption. Okay. And so nothing much to talk about here. We'll chant it and see the words. Vrittayastu tadanim vrittayastu tadanim ajñātāpyātma gocharaha smaranādanumīyante vyuthitasya samutthitāt vrittayastu tadanim ajñātāpyātma gocharaha smaranādanumīyante vyuthitasya samutthitāt. The first line is not coming out well because you are pronouncing the that is the last word, api. That api just you cancel that and then you just take tadanim, you break it at tadanim, ajñātāpyātma gocharaha. Okay, let's try it again together. Vrittayastu tadanim ajñātāpyātma gocharaha smaranādanumīyante vyuthitasya samutthitāt. Okay, so vrittayaha tadanim. Tadanim means when in the middle of the what? Samadhi. Vrittayaha, are they? The vrittayaha means here the uninterrupted understanding that there is nothing in particular to focus. That's the vritti. What is the flow here? That there is nothing to focus on. That is the vritti here. I vritti, that all is remaining. Aham vritti. So this aham vritti is self-evident, all right, but this aham vritti is not known in relation to anything else. There is aham vritti, and that aham vritti is not known in connection to anything, in relation to anything. It is just there as a aham, 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 but there is no one to hear or understand that aham, aham, because the ahankara, the pramata has gone under samadhi. You see that the pramata as a separate entity is absent. And so vrittayaha tadanim. So in tadanim means during the time of samadhi, these vrittis, what happens to them? Are they jnata or ajnata? Ajnata. Unknown they are. That for 10 minutes I was without subject object. This is unknown. Ajnata api, what are they? Atmagocharaha bhavanti. Atmagocharaha means not cognized by the Atma. No, not even mind. Here, non-separate from consciousness. Because what is that vritti? Non-separate from consciousness. So, there are two kinds of vrittis to begin with. One is aham vritti and the other one is idam vritti. So, what is idam vritti gocharaha? This is all typical Vedanta. Adi Shankara will talk about it a lot in various bhashyas, you will see. And so, what is idam vritti? Anything that is qualified by the pronoun this. This book, this and even that. This book, this pen, this flower, this table, this classroom, like this. So this is called this vritti, anatma vritti. And then what do we have? Aham vritti, atma vritti. So idam vritti gocharaha and aham vritti gocharaha, two distinct kinds of vrittis are there. Now, why is samadhi needed? If you ask the yoga people, they will say samadhi is needed because idam vritti is confused for aham vritti. We also say that, we accept the confusion. In fact, Adi Shankara in his bhashya for the, what is that? The Brahma Sutra, Upodghata Bhashya talks about that. So, he talks about how Yushmad Asmad Pratyayayoho. He doesn't talk idam, and there's a very big reason for that. I can't go into that right now. But he says, you vritti and I vritti. You become idam for me. You see? Because what am I objectifying? I'm not objectifying you. I'm objectifying your body-mind complex. I'm not objectifying you. Why am I not objectifying you? Because I cannot objectify you. Why? Because the I in you is the same as the I in me. So that it is not possible. So this idam vritti, he doesn't say idam, and we are not going to go into that. He says yushmat pratyayaha. Pratyayaha is again same thing as vritti, cognition. You cognition, asmad pratyayaha, I cognition have nothing to do with one another. Yushmad asmad pratyayayoho paraspara viruddhayoho viruddha swabhavayoho. How? Tamah prakashavat, like even sun and night. Can sun and night, day and night, occupy the same place at the same time? Never. Similarly, aham vritti and idam vritti are not only different from each other, are opposite of each other. What is idam vritti? Very interesting. Idam vritti, insentient, correct? Not that, we are not talking of the vritti. Idam pratyaya gocharaha. That which is cognized with the word idam, this is what? Sentient or insentient? Huh? Insentient. Very good. I don't have to see anybody after class. So, insentient. Idam is what? Insentient. In the word idam is also what? Insentient. It is neuter. So, this thought is reserved for anything that can be objectified, and anything that can be objectified is insentient. This we have to understand. So, idam pratyaya gochara, don't get confused, it's the same as idam vritti gochara, same thing. Idam vritti gochara, that means that which can be objectified by. That which is the object of. Gochara, that which comes to know, that which is under the purview of. Many meanings are there. So, yushmad asmad pratyayayoho, and then this vishaya vishayinoho, very important. Yushmat pratyaya, what Adi Shankara says yushmat pratyaya, for us we should understand it as idam pratyaya, this cognition. So the objects of this cognition are what? Vishayas, various vishayas. Ear vishayas, shrotra vishaya. And then what else? Vag Vishaya, Karmendriya Vishaya, Jnanendriya Vishayaha. They are the objects of the sense organs and then the organs of action. And so they are all Vishayas. And what is the meaning of the word Vishaya? Objects. And what is the Vyutpatti meaning of the word Vishaya? The grammatical derivation of the word Vishaya? Vishinoti Badhnati iti Vishayaha. Vishayaha means that which binds. Every meaning of every word is already built into the word in Sanskrit. We have to understand. Vishinoti Badhnati iti Vishaya. Badhnati means that which binds is Vishaya. Starts with a thought. Oh, how nice it would be to have X. So, like this, it will start off with a fancy and then it won't let you sit still until it is fulfilled. So, Yushmad Asmat Pratyayayoho. What is this I thought and this thought? This thought and I thought, one is Vishaya, objects. The other one is what? Vishayin. Yeah. What is Vishayin? Vishayaha asya asti iti Vishayin. Possessive pratyaya called matup. It has in as alternative also is there. For certain words that is used. So, Vishayin. Vishayin means what? The one who has Vishayas. So, if I have Vishaya, this book is a Vishaya, then that means what? I am the possessor of Vishaya. I can give it to you. I can sell it. I can keep it in my bookshelf. I can recycle it. I have lots of options what to do with my possession. But then, if I am possessed by the book, then it is very different. So this is Adi Shankara's beginning to the thing. So then tamah prakashavat viruddha svabhavayoho, opposite. And we already saw one particular thing in opposite. What is that? The asmat pratyaya, sentient, idam pratyaya, insentient, jada. So one is Chetana, I is Chetana, I am Chetana, and then all the Vishayas are what? Jada, inert, insentient. And then one is the possessor of the other, and the other one is not the possessor of me. Book doesn't possess me, glasses don't possess me, table doesn't possess me. I am the possessor. So you see, the possessed and possessor relationship, it's only one way, it's not both ways. That is another big difference. So first is it's an object, I am the subject. Second, it is I am sentient, all the whole world of objects are what? Insentient. And thirdly, I am the possessor of the objects. I am the one choosing which object to get, which object to keep away. Objects do not tell me what to do. They don't possess me. So like this, there are at least three differences between aham pratyaya, I cognition, and objects of this cognition. And then Adi Shankara says, given these differences, the two should never mix. Why? Because they are completely different. How can they mix? How can you confuse yourself to be your shadow? That will never happen. Even if somebody pays you, you will not confuse yourself to be the shadow. So how is this happening? So Adi Shankara first makes a case to say that this is not at all possible. This mix-up cannot happen, should not happen, must not happen. But then what do we hear? It does happen. Yes, he says somehow, what is that? This I gets mixed up in the world of this. The possessor becomes what? Possessed. Possessor becomes possessed. By what? That the object itself. The object which I went to possess now has started to possess me. And we use this word, I am possessed. Yeah, we use this word. You don't need any bhuta, some, what is bhuta? Ghost and all. No. You don't need that kind of a possession. The objects in the world are scary enough. Thank you very much. Boo. Yes. So he says, even though this, yadyapi, this mix-up is impossible, this mix-up should not happen, but it happens. And this mistake or this mix-up is called a mistake, which is called adhyasa, due to the wrong projection. Wrong projection. And there are many kinds of adhyasas. Some sarga adhyasa, jnana adhyasa, artha adhyasa, and many, some baby adhyasas are also there. We are not going to go there. Only 2 kinds of adhyasa as it pertains to the Vishayin we need to talk about for the purposes of this text. First is, when we have done this before, so it's going to be just a revision. First is Atmani Anatma Adhyasa. In the Atma, mistaking the I for the not I. Therefore, such is the expression of this mistake is in the form of I am mortal. Martyoham. Enough. That means, is the Atma mortal? No. So the mortality, which is anatma dharma, is what? Put on Atma dharma. On Atma, which is free of dharma. All kinds of attributes. So the attribute of mortality is superimposed on the immortal Atma. Atmani Anatma Adhyasaha. And the opposite of that is also there. What is that? Anatmani Atma Adhyasaha. What is the example of that? I want everything to remain forever, just like this. I want everything to exactly remain forever. Why should it remain forever? Because I am in search of the forever. But then, too lazy to study Vedanta. Therefore, what do? I simply say that I am going to make this and elongate this experience because I am in love with this experience. I am going to make it very much long so that I can enjoy it. So even while parenting, doing the job of parenting, especially with the last child, the parents don't want them to grow up. Yes. You should always remain a child. How is that possible? It is natural. Yeah. It is Shadvikara, it is part of the thing. No. And the parents will keep on talking baby talk to it and keep on, infantilizing this child long past its childhood. So, this way, why? I want it to remain forever. This is one example. There are many such examples, because whenever you say this is the real thing, that means what? Anatmani Atma Adhyasa. This is the real thing. This is what I want. This is what I am going to have. All these things are Anatmani Atma Adhyasa, Atmani Anatma Adhyasa. So the contention here is that these vrittayaha, which vrittayaha? Idam vrittayaha. So these idam vritti gocharaha, these idam vrittis, what happens? And then the aham vritti is constant. On the canvas of the aham vritti, the idam vrittis come, idam vrittis go. Yes? No? Yes. Okay. So on the canvas, so to speak, of the I presence and the always I cognition is never absent. The aham vritti is constantly there, and the idam vritti peeps and goes. Like a little rat coming from the hole in the ground. Peeps, goes. Peeps, goes. Idam, 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 idam. Idam, no idam. Idam, no idam. Like this. So, this whole thing, in Samadhi, the idam vrittis are not there. They are there, but they are latent. What is there is the constant flow of aham without idam. Aham without idam, Aham uninterrupted by idam. This is called samadhi. Aham uninterrupted by idam is called samadhi. And then what is that? Now this aham vritti without idam, it was there. How do you know? First of all, it is self-evident. But that self-evident self is without an object, is self-existent without an object. You cannot know because that objectifying capacity or that observing capacity is just not there. It's not possible to observe an unconditioned consciousness. Whether you are in samadhi or even outside, it's not possible. Okay? So, therefore, you are as good as not there. You, meaning the ahankara, along with the cognizer, body, mind, sense complex, blessed by consciousness, is in a latent state because all these are what? Idam vrittis. The idam vritti is gone, only the aham vritti is keeping on happening, and then there is no witness. Sakshi, bye bye. This is, if Sakshi is there, there is no samadhi. You have to choose between Sakshi and Samadhi. No Sakshi, yes Samadhi. Yes Sakshi, no Samadhi. So the Sakshita also has to resolve, and then in this Samadhi, how do you know that you were Samahita? Samahita means where the subject object was not there. When you come out of Samadhi, somebody wakes you up or some bell rings, something happens to break that reverie, and then you say, okay, aham samahito abhuvam. I was samahito bhuvam. I was in samadhi. It is recollected. We don't need this recollection. Because when you, and let's just see the verse, okay, yeah, then we'll see. So it is recollected. So vrittayastu tadanim, in the samadhi, whatever the vrittis were, the aham vritti, the flow of the vritti, these vrittis, continuous flow of aham, 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 what was it? Ajñātāha, not known in real time. Not known in real time. Ajñātāha. Api, even though they are not known, they are what? Atmagocharaha. Atmagocharaha means non-separate from Atma. Not that object, Atma is the object of this knowledge, no. Non-separate from consciousness. So therefore you don't have to know them separately. They are already consciousness. And then how do you know that? Smaranat. You recall them on account of smaranam. Smaranat anumiyante, they are presumed. That I was in a constant dhara of aham vritti is presumed when? In hindsight. After coming out of the samadhi, you say, yay, I was in samadhi for 5 minutes. Means what? I was non-dual for 5 minutes. That's why we don't follow this completely. So when you come out of samadhi, are you non-dual or not? Non-dual, yes. It doesn't need to be experienced. It is Atmajnanam. And so here he is using the samadhi language, and then anumiyante, for whom vyutthitasya. Vyutthitasya means the one who was in this samadhi. These are all yoga sutra words. These are all yoga sutra words. Then samuthitat. Samuthitat means when the samadhi bhanga takes place, when the samadhi experience, this unbroken experience of I, when it is broken, then what? The person, for the person who has woken up from samadhi, then the person recalls, okay, I was in samadhi. This is not necessary. We don't say this is necessary. But a lot of, see, even the Dridrishya Viveka, a good 5, 6, maybe 8, 10 verses are on Samadhi. Because people seem to need the experiential ratification, validation that I am non-dual. But here it's just cognized. Even through Shravanam one can get there. But this is what some people need. And the Vedanta authors like Panchadashikara also go along with that. So Vyutthitasya Samuthitat. So Smaranad Anumiyante. Vyutthitasya, for the one that was resolved, Samuthitat, when one comes out of the resolution, when one comes out of the subject-object resolution, it is not known. It is what? Presumed. It is inferred. It is presumed. And then, this is the quotation from the 6th chapter. Let us look at that. Yatha deepo nivatasthaha ityadhibhiranekadha. What happened? Why is... Oh, I skipped a verse. Okay, all right, yeah. See, both of them started with vritti. So that's why it happened. Vrittinam anuvrittistu prayatnat prathamadapi adrishta sakrid abhyasa. There is a mistake here. The ra make it va. Sachivod bhavet. Yeah, Sachivod bhavet. So, Sachivad bhavet? No, that is chira here, but it's a mistake, because if you look in, who has this book, look there and tell me. Sachivad bhavet. Yeah, that makes more sense. Ra, make the ra into va, vakara. Then we'll start from the beginning and chant. Vrittinam anuvrittistu prayatnat prathamadapi adrishta sakridabhyasa samskaras sachivat bhavet. Vrittinam anuvrittistu prayatnat prathamadapi adrishta sakridabhyasa samskaras sachivat bhavet. So vrittinam anuvrittihi. So now this 57th verse answers the question of how some people just slip into samadhi for no reason at all. They just slip into samadhi, and the other people, even if you paid them, they cannot go into samadhi. What is the difference? Why is it like this? Because let's say they both are studying Yoga Sutras, they both are studying this, they both have the same teacher, so you can't even say one was taught properly and the other one was not so much. No, you cannot say that. Both of everything else being the same, some people just slip into samadhi at every drop of a hat, and then the other people, no matter how hard they try, the Sakshi refuses to quit. There is some inner fear. Sometimes it is there. Like, oh my God, the Sakshi is going to resolve. No, I'm not going to let the Sakshi resolve. The Sakshi itself decides. I'm going to just be the Ahankara, will not let go. So then, what is the difference? How is it different for some people who can go into samadhi effortlessly, and then for some people it is very difficult and experience to gain? And then he gives 3 particular reasons. So first line, the reasons come in the second line. First line, vrittinam anuvrittihi. Anuvrittihi means the flow, uninterrupted flow. Anuvrittihi of what? Vrittis. Which vritti? Aham vritti. So these aham vrittayah, they nirantara, they are constant. Aham, 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 aham. No idam. Uninterrupted by idam, aham vritti, anuvritti means the constant flow of I cognition, even before the effort is put. Prayatnat prathamat. Even before the prayatnat means before the effort, prathama before. Even before the effort is put, api even. Even before the effort is put, there are three things which bless the person with the experience of samadhi. What is that? Adrishta. Adrishta means the punya. Here Papa also is adrishta, but here because of Papa you went into samadhi. That is not correct. So samadhi experience is through Papa or punya? Punya. So then adrishta here means punya. The invisible results of action done in this or other lives which has fructified in the form of the blessing of samadhi. Why is samadhi a blessing? It's a blessing to all your loved ones because you are out of commission. Yes, so samadhi is a blessing. Why is it a blessing? For this person also it's a blessing because it gives knowledge that, okay, this is, I am not the body, mind, sense complex. I am not the sum total of my karma. Some knowledge takes place as a result. One can, but one has to analyze the experience properly under the Vedanta, under the Vedantic rubric, then only the correct understanding will come. So that it doesn't become into some kind of a mystical experience. So then three reasons are given. What is the first reason? Punya. Punya prabhavat. Because of the effort that was put in the last life. In the last life, what did this person do? Samadhi, 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 samadhi. He was doing japa of samadhi and practiced a lot. We did all the things by the Veda book and by all the books that talk about meditation, Yoga Sutra, etc. Did everything correctly, and as a result, and then what? But could not reap the benefits. Died away without getting samadhi, even though had done the work. So here is easily able to go to the place of samadhi because of punya, previous karma, punya karma. And then the second reason is given is asakrit abhyasah. Sakrit means once. Asakrit, many times. Abhyasa, repetition. Generally, what will people do? Let me sit in samadhi. It's not coming. So let me give it up. This is how people are. There is a hopelessness. And so if it is too difficult, if two things are there, one is easy and the other one is difficult, which will you choose? Easy one, definitely. So if supposing there are two ashrams, one says instant moksha, and the other one says 3.5 year course. Which will people choose? That's a hard one. Okay. So people will naturally, most of the people, present company excluded. Okay, here you know too much, you will not do that. But the rest of the people, what will they choose? Oh, instant, that is good. Because everything is instant. Instant tea, instant coffee, instant everything right now. Instant noodles, instant upma, instant everything. Everything is in a cup. And you just put hot water and wait. That's all you have to do. And so then everybody chooses the instant one. Why? Because everybody likes shortcuts and everybody likes that which is easy. Who is going to study for 3 years? Come on, this is why. Why should I do that when I can get it instantly? This is everybody's thinking. Everybody's thinking is that which is quickly available is the correct thing. But here, this samadhi, for this person, it may look easy for them now. But previously, what have they done? They have sat and done abhyasa. What is abhyasa? Practice. Repeated abhyasa. Asakrit abhyasa. After one abhyasa, forget it. I am not coming back. This meditation is not going well. It is not gone well. I cannot meditate. Therefore, the conclusion, I am not a meditator. Some people say that. I am not a meditator, I cannot meditate. Have you meditated to come to that conclusion? No. Then how do you know you cannot meditate? Some notion is already there. Hopelessness is there, some pratibandha is there, some block is there, some resistance is there, and like I said before, some fear is there. The fear of you losing the ahankara. Like if I am in samadhi, I will fall down. That's the fear. Even I won't be seated, I will just fall down. I will just topple over like a table lamp. So, why lamp? Because consciousness, light of consciousness, toppling over, even while lit. So, this is the fear. So, all kinds of fears are there, because of which this asakrit abhyasa, this repeated practice does not happen. They just dabble in it and then go away. Why samadhi? Even Vedanta is like that. They come and they say nothing happened. I was supposed to be enlightened already. It's 1 hour class. 45 minutes later, nothing has happened. Bye-bye. This is what many people do. One person I met in the US ashram, and then he said, I have been coming to this place and studying for 20 years. Still nothing has happened. I said, 20 years? That's a long time. I said, I also teach here. How come I haven't seen you? No, I just may be coming at different times or something. He just, did not give a serious answer. So then he wanted to talk some more. So I kept on talking. I asked, what have you studied and everything? Which Upanishads? He says, I have not studied the Upanishads. I said, but you've been coming for 20 years. All the Swamis here teach only the Upanishads. How come you have not studied the Upanishads? He says, well, I have been coming for 20 years, but I have been coming for the 10-minute talk given by the Swamis on New Year Day. Yeah. So this is what? Not enough. Ayatihi. This is what is going to be taught in the 6th chapter. The 6th chapter is full of contemplation. It's all contemplation, Vedantic contemplation. It's amazing. And so here, this is like that gentleman. Here also, the person has not done enough abhyasa to reap the fruits of the nirantara, to reap the fruits of the knowledge that this aham vritti is nirantara, the idam vritti comes and goes, has not done enough homework. Okay, then where were we? Yeah, asakrit abhyasa, and then samskara sachiva. What is sachiva? You know, in Hindi, Sachiv. Huh? Minister, very good. Secretary. So, then the third thing is samskaras. Samskaras means purva samskaras, impressions from early childhood or other lives. Yeah, so other lives are also there. So this abhyasa has not been done in this life, but other lives it has been done. Or the samadhi has been, the child has observed meditating caregivers and parents, and the child also has learned to have some quiet time since childhood. Otherwise children like jabber. They keep on talking all the time. And then, in the school, they have to say, the poor teachers, they have to say, you have to just put your head down. You have to sleep. I'm not sleepy. No, you have to sleep. Otherwise, sit quietly with a finger on your lips. Yeah. This benefits the child, no doubt, but it also benefits the teachers. They get a little bit of breathing time. And their ears are not constantly assailed by all this. The talking shows the restless mind. The more restlessness it comes out only in the way that it can come out, through the karmendriyas. Either one is constantly doing something, or even if they are forced to sit quietly, they start shaking a leg like this. They keep shaking. Something or the other they shake. Leg is shaking, hand is shaking, something is shaking. When the karmendriyas come out like this, what does it show? There is an inner restlessness. That is why the 6th chapter says, Tame the karmendriyas. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Karmasu, with regard to karma, the one must be yukta cheshta. Yukta cheshta means as much as is necessary, you move the tongue, you move the hands, you move the legs. Not more, not less. Sometimes they say, what is that? Some people, I think it is said about Italians, they don't talk with their mouths, they talk with the hands. Culture, it's a cultural trait. But here, for a mumukshu, for a jignasu, this is very important. So these are all coming under the discussion of samskaras. So in early childhood, if the home, the native home where the child grew up is like, what is that called? Tower of Babel, full of cacophony, noisy, everybody fighting, everybody putting one another down, not a single moment of P and Q. What is P and Q? Peace and quiet. No peace, no quiet. And so then naturally the child will also grow up to be an agitated adult and has to first take care of that agitation. That's why Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. That's why Yama Niyamas become before Samadhi. Have to. Otherwise it is not possible. So some people naturally slip into it, and these are the 3 reasons. What are the 3 reasons? What is the first reason given here? Punya, adrishta. Purva karma, punya. And then second one, asakrit abhyasa, relentless practice. And the third one is what? Samskara, early childhood samskaras or previous life samskaras also. If they are strong, they will come into this life as well. And then, so these are the reasons why some people seem to just enjoy a quiet heart and a quiet mind, whether they go into samadhi or not. Okay? And then this idea is elaborated by directing us to the 6th chapter. Yatha deepo nivatasthaha ityadhibhiranekadha bhagavanimamenvartham arjunayanyarupayat यथा दीपो निवातस्थः इत्यादिभिरनेकधा भगवानिममेवार्थम् अर्जुनाय न्यरूपयत्. So, Panchadashikara says that I am going to give you back to the afternoon class, the 6th chapter class, because that is where Bhagavan is teaching all this very, very clearly with this example. The 19th verse, I think, tells, Yatha deepo nivatasthaha na ingate sa upama smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato Yogamatmanaha. This is the 19th verse of the 6th chapter, and giving the very simple example which we have already seen. There also he talked about it. Only difference, he said Nirvata Deepavat. He said here it is Nivata Deepaha. Nivata means breezeless. Air, not airless. Airless lamp does not exist. Breezeless lamp. So you can't keep a lamp on a windy day outside, it will tremble and then it will go off. So here it's a protected lamp, protected from the breeze, and then what do you find? It is burning steadily. Yatha deepo nivatasthaha. Sthaha means placed in a area or in a location. Nivatasthaha, where there is vata, the blowing air is not there. And then na ingate, does not tremble. Sa upama smrita, this example is recalled. This example is recalled. And similarly, this for the yogi whose chitta is back to oneself from what? From the world of Yushmat Pratyaya, from the world of Idam Gojara, has come back to Aham, no longer possessed by objects, has come back to Aham. Yunjate. Yunjate means brings together. Brings together what? This samadhi is in samadhi because there is nothing to want. So the samadhi of the wantless one is the fruit of jnanam, atma jnanam. It's not for the, so the Vedantic samadhi is the fruit of atma jnanam, not that the samadhi results in atma jnanam. That we will not accept. Samadhi does not result in Atma Jnanam. The Atma Jnanam is the fruit. The Samadhi is the fruit of Atma Jnanam. And that we can say Jnana Phala. So from the standpoint of Jnana Phala, we can take it to be this thing. So now in this verse he says, Yatha Deepo Nivatastha iti adibhihi. Iti means with such and other verses, anekadha, repeatedly, atma samstham manah kritva na kinchidapi chintayet sparshan bahyan bahihi kritva pranapanau samau kritva. All these instructions have been given repeatedly where in the 6th chapter Panchadashi Ch says Bhagavan imameva artham. This artha. What is the artha? Don't take samadhi to be an experience to want. Because after samadhi, what will you want? Something else. Let me go have some ice cream. That's what you will say. Samadhi over. Let me have ice cream experience. There also subject-object resolution takes place. What's the difference between ice cream samadhi, chocolate cake samadhi, and then nirvikalpa samadhi? Same thing. No difference. So don't look for one more experience to quell the differences between subject and object. See that subject and object are never opposed to one another. This idam pratyaya and aham pratyaya, idam pratyaya resolves into aham pratyaya because nothing is away from aham consciousness. Nothing is away from consciousness. What is away from consciousness? Nothing. So instead of looking for Brahman, you can try a meditation to go as far away from Brahman as possible. Yeah. Even as a meditation. You will fail in the first half a minute even. Wherever you go, what is that? Brahman. Whatever you think of, what is that? Brahman. When you don't think of anything, what is there? Brahman. So there is no way of getting out of consciousness. There is no way of getting into consciousness. And this is what the Arjuna was taught. Arjuna was taught to meditate by Bhagavan in the 6th chapter, and Arjuna was taught not samadhi but nididhyasanam. Vedantic meditation is of two types. One is mantra japa and the other one is what? Nididhyasanam. We have seen what that is and what that does for viparita bhavana nivritti. So the whole 6th chapter is about nididhyasanam. Very beautiful. And then, so he says, iti anekadha, in many, many places. And then Bhagavan imameva, this alone, Arjunaya nyarupayat, unfolded this teaching for Arjuna. Now, so this we didn't see properly. Samskaraha sachivad bhavet. Sachiva means, we decided, minister. And what does the minister do for the king? Help. So the samskara is the sachiva for the other two, for the person to slip into samadhi. The samskara is a helpful agent in slipping into samadhi. for the adrishta, and abhyasa, samskara, helps. Samskara is the minister. Very nicely put. But if we had read it Sachirat, it doesn't make any. At least Achirat, it might have made a, Achira means not too long. But Sachira means along with a great length of time. Yeah, then that's very off-putting and wrong also. All right. Anada viha samsare sanchitah karma kotayah anena vilayam yanti shuddho dharmo vivardhate. Yeah, so anada viha samsare sanchitah karma kotayah anena vilayam yanti shuddho dharmo vivardhate. So he's doing a little bit of a copycatism, plagiarism from what? Kaivalyapada. So these are all ancient texts. So you can take whatever you like. You don't have to, because knowledge is free. They never thought. Our sages never thought knowledge was not free. So therefore they freely borrowed from everything. So in the Kaivalyapada, there is a sutra, I think 15 or 16, I can look it up tomorrow if you want, and then there, which talks about this Ananda. For the word Ananda, Patanjali uses the word what? Dharma. Dharma here is not righteousness. Because what we are talking about, in which verse is it? 59th verse, is not, is jnana phalam. So as a result of Atma Jnanam, I have become more dharmic. Does that sound even correct? It is incongruous. In fact, it's the other way around. As a result of being more and more dharmic, I am interested in this knowledge, I am pursuing this knowledge, yes. But as a result of Jnana Phalam, because of Atma Jnanam, what has happened? I have become more dharmic. No. Dharma here is upalakshana for Ananda, as the very next verse, the 60th verse, will make that very, very clear. So here, what is he doing? He is taking the words of the sutra in the Kaivalyapada and Vedantizing it. Okay, so he's just made it into a Vedantic verse. How? Let us see. So he says, anadi, anadau iha samsare. Anadau, anadi, 7th case. Anadau iha samsare. Anadau. What is anadau? In this samsara, which is what? Anadi. Anadi means what? Without a beginning. In this beginningless samsara, which has no beginning, what is there? There stands in my account thousands, millions, billions, trillions, and even if there is something above trillion, even that many karmas are standing in the account. Whose account? Not the neighbor's account, your own account. Okay? Yeah. Secret bank account. Nobody knows the combination. Nobody knows the account number except Chitragupta, Bhagavan in the form of the giver of Karmaphala. This is the Ishta Devata of many people in this region. In Uttarakhand and in Uttar Pradesh, etc., Chitragupta festival, Chitragupta is very much revered, extremely revered. Because yes, you cannot afford to not invoke Bhagavan as the giver of the fruits of action. So Sanchita, what is Sanchita? A huge bank account of what? What is it banking? Karma. What kind of karma? Punya and Papa. How did it get there, this huge bank account? Because each time you have a life with free will, then all the karmas that you have done go to sanchita. Even one human life is enough for endless sanchita. You thought Atma is infinite, but here sanchita is competing for infinity with Atma. Sanchita is also infinite. How can there be two infinites? Thankfully, one is mithya, one is satyam. Which is mithya? Atma. No. Okay. Sanchita is mithya. Therefore, it can be also endless. No problem. So then, karma kotayaha. Kotayaha means countless. Koti means crore, but then crores and crores, thousands of billions of crores of karma are sitting in the account. So, and what is this? This crores and crores of karma, what do they contribute to? They contribute to endless samsara. They contribute to not only beginningless samsara, these karmas came out of beginningless samsara and they contribute for this particular jiva, they contribute to endless numbers of births. Why? How can you exhaust inexhaustible karma? Can you exhaust inexhaustible karma? No. You can never catch up. It's like sometimes, the indigent people who have no means and who have no land and who have no money, they get into terrible debt with loan sharks. 100% interest, 300% interest. This is a reality in many places. And then their whole life they are paying interest. The capital is still there, unpaid, because they don't have the money. They can barely pay the interest little bit, and then after they die away, their children keep on paying the interest to the children of the baby loan sharks, the adult children of the loan sharks. They keep on paying, and then their children pay to their children. Like this, it continues. Generation after generation, and here is a family getting rich for doing nothing because they have given the money to many people at 300% interest, and then they are just reaping, the whole family is living generation after generation based on this kind of a wealth. And so like this sanchita karma is like that. You can never exhaust it. You can never pay it back. You can never say it will always be there. Like the unpaid capital, it will still be there. And so, but here, what happens? Anena vilayam yanti. These karma kotayah yanti. What yanti? This vilayam. Vilayam means neutralization, disappearance. Yanti. Anena, not samadhina. Don't say samadhina. All the karmas go away by samadhi, then what do I have to do? Just be in samadhi, that's all. Why should we have 3-month course? No need. So, samadhi happens and then we can just finish it off with that. No. Here, anena means anena jnanena. Samadhina, samadhija jnanena. Samadhina utpadita jnanena. Utpanna jnanena. Samadhina. So the knowledge generated as a result of Atma Jnanam and the practice of Samadhi. So that knowledge, that Jnanam, which has been, because of Samadhi, it has taken a hold of the person. Unshakable it has become. So that knowledge, that Jnanam, what has happened to that? That it has the power of dismissing all the karmas, not just sanchita, not just agami, not just prarabdha, all three of them. Vidyate hridaya granthihi, chidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante cha asya karmani, tasmin drishte paravare. Mundaka Vakya. And what that says is that all the karmas are gone in the wake of Atma Jnanam. So here the Atma Jnanam which was born as a result of study, and then which was also ratified as a result of the samadhi experience, that has the power to cut through all this samsara. And then as a result, what happens? Shuddho dharmo vivardhate. Ananda, uninhibited ananda, that is not connected to subject-object fusion. So the ananda that is independent of object, the ananda centered on the subject, vivardhate, increases. But ananda is ananta. How can it increase? It neither increases nor decreases. But here we are talking of experientially, before knowledge and after knowledge, we find that the person is much more happy after knowledge than before. And how that will happen, we will see day after tomorrow. Tonight we will finish that question which has come, and if you want to ask more questions, you can do that. All right. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.